Morning everybody. Well, it's Monday morning and yeah, as predicted, it's very, very wet, very overcast. So I've had a lovely lay-in this morning. I decided I wasn't going to get up early, so I've laid in my box. A lovely, nice lay-in. So I'm up now, packed up, and I think I'm going to take a slow drive over to my next location, which is Wild Ennerdale. And then if I see anything along the way, I'm going to stop. I'm going to have a look down. We're going to drive back down to where we were shooting last night, down Wastwater. And if there is anything, then like I said, I'll stop, but I'll keep an eye open. But the rain is changing dramatically every 5 minutes, or every 5 seconds, to be honest. So just behind me, you can see down the valley. You can barely see it now, but a couple of minutes ago, you could see right down the valley. So there is the potential for shots if you get a really nice foreground, and then just everything disappearing off into the mist and the rain. Quite moody, we'll see. So yeah, so that's where we're at. Okay, right, so yeah, I'll show you when I stop next. Okay, so I've just stopped at a little bridge, and there's this amazing, really heavy flowing, obviously because of the rain, stream, loads of rocks under this bridge and out. So I'm going to do some close intimate work with the water and the rocks, and maybe some slow movement as well. So got all my rain gear on, got my wellies on, and off we go. So as I go and line up my next shot, I'm going to tell you a little story. So last night, I'm going to go over there and line up. So last night, as I was getting into bed, opening my box up on my car, getting into bed, the strangest thing happened. There was this commotion and noise. And then it was, do you know what? I couldn't believe it. I woke up and there was this sheep there. I was like, what on earth is that sheep doing? Okay, so I'm shooting this image here. We're looking up the stream as it comes down into the mountains behind us. We've got the rocks in the bottom of the image as the foreground. We've got this really nice little V that's formed, which I'm using kind of on the edge of each frame, and I'm working up through the image. I love the yellow in that bush. It's quite strong, so we need to check that in post, make sure it's not too bright. But I just love the way that this stream in this force is cascading down from the mountain, and that's kind of what I'm trying to capture. So the story of this image is this. The intent of this image is it coming all the way down, is the water travelling from the top of the mountain down through, and how it creates this scar through the landscape, or this movement through an otherwise, you know, a very fast flowing water through a very slow moving environment. So I really love that. So I like this image, I really like this image. I love this foreground, and I love the way that water works. I'm a bit unsure whether there's too much on the right hand side, and this orange, stunning orange that's poking through, whether that's a bit too intrusive into the scene. So I'm just going to step left a little bit, step right a little bit, and see what difference that makes. So after I'd taken those previous images, I'd walked up the stream a little bit, and I found this scene here, and I really like this. It's quite unusual. So you can see me in the frame on the right, setting up and taking an image. I was very close to the bank, so there wasn't enough space for both camera and tripod, and I decided to just take the image and not do any pieces to camera. But yeah, I'm right on the edge here, and I'm shooting up the stream. I'm using this piece of moving water as kind of a foreground, as a lead-in as we head up the stream. And then on the right hand side we've got this massive boulder, which, do you know what, I really like it. It's really unusual, it's really odd, it's probably too big in the frame for a lot of people, but I really like it. I think it's great. It adds something to the image. You've just seen me there get a polarizer out, and I put polarizer on the camera and adjusted it, and that allowed me to control how the water sat within the image and the reflections that I got. It also helped bring out some of the colour of the land and the vegetation around the image in the rain. Just pulled those colours out, but as you can see, it was absolutely chucking it down, and it was really wet. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back into Lightroom, and we're going to edit that image. I've already done some editing on that image, which I'd forgotten I'd done, to be honest. I brought it in when I got home. I'd imported the images and I'd loaded them up to have a look at them to see what I liked and what I didn't like. And I think I'd just done a little bit of playing with this just to see if it worked or not, because I was quite happy in the field, and I feel like I want to kind of turn this into a nice image. So you can see more of these elements that I was talking about. So we've got this element of water here, which is your lead in and your foreground, and then that leads you up through the image into the back of the image. You've got this massive boulder on the right. You've got this nice vegetation on the right, these colours, the greens and the oranges, which are really cool. This wall holds you in, I think, and separates from that misty, wet background quite nicely. And then you've got these other trees on the right leading in, which creates kind of a natural V, which I really like. On the left-hand side, as you work around the top, you've got these old trees. These new tree saplings. These are tree protectors, protecting the new saplings from growing. It's quite bare up there, but I think it's okay. We can darken that a little bit in a moment. And then we've got this tree here, which I think again holds that V in the image. And I really like this tree here on the bank on the left, leaning over, you know, almost into the water. I was very conscious of where I set up to get that tree not over the water, and to very carefully place it around these rocks here. And especially this rock here, you can see we've got a nice relationship in the shape of this rock to the shape of that branch, and I really like that. And again, making sure at this point here that the tree doesn't intersect with the rock, and again trying to keep it nice and clean throughout. It's you're never going to get it 100% perfect. You know, you're never going to stop these rocks here getting in the way, or these over here. There's going to be an element to what can be done and not done, but those were the elements I was focused on. I like this uniformity through the middle of the image, and this kind of, because we've slowed it down, it gives it an element of sereneness, of simpleness, of minimalistness, compared with this like absolute crazy nonsense going around the rest of it, with all these rocks, these colours, these shapes, different textures, the water, the boulders, the stones. I like that juxtaposition. Okay, so we've done some basic processing at this point. So we've played with the colour, we've played with the exposure and added loads of contrast, and then we've upped the clarity, and we've actually upped the dehaze a little bit. I don't use a lot of dehaze. I'm not a big fan of that slider, but in this scenario it has helped. So I'll just show you the before. So it's quite flat and it's quite grey, and it's all, you can see it's quite rainy, whereas in this so far processed one, it's looking cleaner, but you still got that sense of rain, which I like and which we need. I love these little droplets you can see on the trees. They're really cool if people were to pixel peep. So now that we're here, the processing that I think we need to do is we need to work on the water a little bit, because it's very white. You know, it's almost blown out. There's no detail in it. I want to see if I can pull some of that detail back. And then I think we're going to do a little bit of modelling, like dodging and burning, just to pull out some of the depth in these foreground rocks and the boulder. So let's work on the water first. So I think what we need to do is pull up a brush, and we'll just start masking. So having done the processing, I'm even happier with this image now than I was when I took it. I really like it. I think it's a really interesting scene, and the boulder and the tree and the water, I think, make some great elements to this image. So I'm really quite happy with this image. If you like this image and you like this video so far, do me a favour and hit that thumbs up, and I'd love you to hit that subscribe button for me as well, please. That would be amazing, and I look forward to sharing more journeys with you, more adventures with you. So after I shot that image, which I'm going to show you in a minute, I then got back in the car and I headed off to Wild Ennerdale. And along the way, I did stop again once more, and it was I spotted this kind of old wood on the road, and when I'd driven up, so there was more mist, it was heavier, and I thought I had to shoot it, so I stopped, found somewhere to park, stopped, and went and shot a couple of images in there, and I'm going to show you one of those as well after this one. After that, I stopped and had some lunch, which you'll see, and then I got back in the car and carried on to Wild Ennerdale. So yeah, I hope you enjoy the rest of this video, and I'll see you soon. So as you can see and hear, it's horrible. It's really windy. Well, the wind's just picking up, to be fair, but it's really wet again. The clouds are really low, and yeah, I mean, it's not really much to shoot, much to enjoy as well, to be honest. I was hoping that as I drove here, because I came down from the top of the mountain, I was hoping that the cloud would break a little bit, and I've been probably here about an hour, waiting really for either a break in the low cloud, or softening or something, just to give a bit of interest, to give me something to shoot. But at the moment it really is quite naff. I'm not feeling massively inspired. I mean, apart from the sheep that are around, you know, I mean, I could shoot sheep, but I'm not really into sheep. Yeah, I'm struggling. So I've even done the technique, I have this thing when I'm uninspired, I just sit somewhere and just wait for something to come across me. I've done that and I'm really not feeling it. So it's about an hour and a half probably left in sunlight, what there is of it, before the sun goes down. I can't see getting anything at all. So yeah, so I think I'm gonna sign off and go and have some dinner, and work out where I'm gonna do that, whether I'm gonna go to the pub or I'm gonna eat at the car, and then I'll get ready for bed, and then I can be up nice and early in the morning if I want to be. But I checked the weather when I've finally got some phone signal, and it looks like in the morning it's going to be quite wet and overcast first thing. It's going to rain overnight, and then at the tail end of that in the morning, and then from sort of 9-10 o'clock ish, then the cloud is going to break a little bit, and then we should get some sun. It'll be wet, I believe, but there'll be some sun breaks as well. So that's ideal. That's weather that I really love, if it comes off. So I'm glad I'm here, because I think this will be a really fun place to shoot that type of weather. Yeah, so I'll sign off now, and then yeah, I'll see you when there's something to talk about.